Welcome to a demo of LG-HedgeTrader, which is a spreadsheet-based trading application that works through IB's TWS trading platform. So the basis for this application is to allow users to trade really any product that you want, whether that be options, warrants, stocks, futures, forex, bonds, really anything that you want to trade in an automated fashion. You can trade using this spreadsheet-based application. So as you load the program, this is what you'll see. This is your kind of dashboard, and really everything is controlled other than we have a risk monitoring on another sheet, but really all of the orders and automation is handled via this sheet. And each line represents a different strategy, or if you were, for example, buying and selling, you wanted to market make on one security, you'd have two rows for that security. And just looking at the basic layout here, we've got an area here for quotes, and if I expand this, you can see the contract parameters. And so let's just bring the quote for this. This is XPM, which is the iShares Base Metal ETF, and this is bringing in the quotes from TWS. We don't need that anymore. Over here you have your parameters: minimum position, maximum position, the leg, the min price, and the max price. Over here you have your basic other parameters: buy, sell, quantity, order type, your price, and this cell here defines whether you are going to send the order or not. And again, all of this stuff is based on formulas, so anything that's within a bolded box here is required to be able to auto trade or automatically send orders based on your criteria. But everything within here can be based on formulas, and you can really put whatever you want in here. So you just need to write a formula to set that to true, or you can really actually just double click on that if it's false to set it to true, and that would send an order. You also need this cell modify as a 1 for it to send an order, and this is really just looking for, you need to put in a formula here which will, if you haven't sent an order, it'll initiate an order, and if you need to CFO an order, you can put your condition here for this to change to a 1. And then on top of that, you need to turn the row on, and you do that by double clicking this row. And so you can double click, multiple rows. You could drag that down and nothing would happen until you turn on the master auto trade function at the top of the sheet, which is right here. So that's a little bit of the layout. Again, these are anything within the bolded boxes here you need to put in for the program to trade. And other than that, you can write any formulas or bring in any data into other cells you want. So if I look over here, I've got some common stuff I use on a regular basis about the inventory, the capital, the short quantity that's available. This is all linked to other tables. And then you can bring in stats. These are just some things I look at periodically, and Greeks for if you're trading options. Now let's look at some specific examples, and let's put this into action. So up here I had just an example of 2 rows on a market maker style strategy, both buying and selling this stock. So let's expand that and look at a list of stocks. So this is just a really basic list of iShares ETFs that trade in the Canadian marketplace. And I'm going to bring in quotes for these. Close this. And let's just say I want to run a really basic market maker style program that's going to provide liquidity. So I'm going to go either short 200 shares up to long 200 shares in 100 share increments, and let's define a max buy price and a minimum sell price. So what I've got here, bring in from another table, is historical volatility, and so I've used that to define kind of like a Bollinger Band style minimum and maximum, except based on yesterday's closing price, which is just being looked up from this table here. And let's say outside 1 standard deviation. So if the price moves 1 standard deviation, I'm going to be willing to buy or sell at that price. So pretty wide wide spread here is what I'm looking to trade at, and I'm just going to drag this formula all the way down so it applies to all these cells. And then on top of that, because I'm going in 100 share increments, I've added this column here. This is just an empty cell, and I'm going to use this to say what, after an order fills, that second 100 share leg, how far back do I want it to trade? And I'm going to say 10 cents, just an arbitrary 10 cents across the board. And you're going to need to write that into a formula, and to say when a trade has happened, the last trade price will show up in this column here. And so I'm going to define my formula to say if I have an inventory and there's a last price, to move the last price up by back by 10 cents, in terms of, if somebody comes in and hits your order and you want to pull back 10 cents. So now that we've got our basic parameters defined for this market maker style strategy, let's look at the formulas that are going to control the price and whether to send an order or not. So I've already got this function built in here. If we just open up and look through, it's going to say for a buy order, if BD14, which is your last trade price, is nothing, meaning you haven't executed anything today, let's look at the minimum of either the bid price plus your offset amount, your offer price minus the spread you're looking to make, which I might bump that up in a second, or your hard maximum buy price. And the only difference over here is if if you have a price in the last column, meaning you've already traded some, you're just going to take your last price and bump it back by the 10 cents that we have defined here. And it's basically reversed for the sell side. Let's actually bump this up and say I want to make a minimum of 4 cents. So if somebody comes in where it's penny to penny bid and ask, I'll actually be moving my orders back. So you're really just trying to provide liquidity if somebody really comes in and moves the price quite a bit. And there's also this, whether you're going to send your order or not. This is really just based on what's in your inventory, what you have so far, and your minimum and maximum position. And for shorts, it'll look at this value here, whether to see if you can short the shares or not. And that's just based up on a lookup to a table. So basically we have everything ready to go. And you can just drag and drop these formulas. That's the ease of this spreadsheet. Everything can be dragged and dropped, so you can take one strategy, define it, and then drag it across quite a few different rows. So let's turn this on, and let's just turn it on one at a time to make sure we don't get any errors and we can see the orders going out. So I'm going to move this down so you can see up here we've got the TWS windows, which show your orders, your trades, and I've just got a chart here for XBM, which is I think the first ticker on our list, and we'll see orders go out on the chart, and I've got a spread defined here for something we'll look at later. So let's turn the master auto trade function on, and let's see, that's sent out as well. I'm going to try and cancel that, so that order canceled out. And so here we've got it working. There's no short quantity available, so it's actually not going to try and short the shares, unfortunately. So it looks like it's working, and it's updating. I guess the price hasn't moved. So let's take this and let's drag it across all these rows, and these will send orders out all at the same time. And again, this is live in market, so I'm not using a demo system. These are live orders that are going out. There, so you can see all these orders went out. Buys and sells on all these tickers. And so let's just see if we get a sell. Say in real time, while the auto trader is turned on, I want to take this spread down to actually only 3 cents. So I can actually do this in real time. Now, if you're making any major changes, you probably want to do this just by turning the auto trader off, canceling your orders, and making sure everything looks good before sending orders out. But because I've tested this, I don't have any trouble with the confidence. And I'm actually going to drag and drop this all in real time on all these orders, and we'll see up at the top all these updating in real time. So let's see if I can just make this a little bit bigger. And let's just to make sure all of them are going to update so we can really see these update. I'm going to use 10-cent spread. Drag and drop, all of them are updated real time. So whatever you put in here, however you build this function, everything will be updated in real time, and it'll monitor the fills and hedge accordingly or send out other trades accordingly. So you can build in, you know, any multitude of functions that you can think of, you can really trade in this program, and it can handle long lists as well. You can use this to trade about 200 different rows, and there should be no problems with any lag. So now that I've shown you some really basic order types you can use with this program, let's expand this and use some other products and some other strategies. So these are running as we speak. So we'll just see if we get a fill as I'm working on some of the other strategies. So this is a warrant. So if you wanted to do kind of warrant arbitrage on the basis of going long the warrant, short the stock, or short the warrant and long the stock, you can manage this within this program. So what I've got built here is, let's close this, bring in the quotes. And within the parameters, I've got a Black-Scholes function built for this warrant. So I've got my vol price here, and all the other parameters are managed in other columns to the right. But so as I change this, the Black-Scholes price is going to change, and I've got right here my min sell price and max buy price, just based on the spread, which is in this column, plus minus from the Black-Scholes price. So you can bump that up. Looks like the market is looking at about what I had it at, which is 0.545. So that's where I'm comfortable. I can buy it at $1.45 and sell it at $1.55. Hopefully the market will bounce around and hit me on both sides. And in the meantime, I would hedge it with some stock. And I have that defined by the delta of the option, and so it will actually delta hedge automatically by itself once an order is filled. So let's turn this on. So there's no short availability, and I actually don't have my minimum position set to a short, so it'll only go and try and buy, and until that fills, we won't see a sell order go out. So you see that order here, it's at $1.45. And let's either see if we get a fill on that, or if the price moves around to get a CFO. And in the meantime, let's look at some other strategies. How about an option? So I've been looking at Penwest the last couple of days, and I think the implied volatility on the options is a little rich. There's been some shake-up with the company cutting its dividend, CEO change, so I think it's a little high, and let's bring the quotes in and try and sell some vol. So I have a similar function built in here for the Black-Scholes price. This function is just expand a little bit further than the warrant one to allow for puts. And historical volatility is about 36%. And if I look at it, it looks like the market is a little bit higher than that. 45%, I think it's too high. I think the vol is going to come down. So let's try and sell some of this. So first I'm going to turn the auto trade function on for the underlying equity, and what that's going to do is it's going to delta hedge any orders that fill, and I can see the delta by expanding this column over here, which is the Greeks, and it shows just the option Greeks here, and then your position Greeks. So once you get a fill, it'll show your position Greeks here with the total up top, and then it'll go out and hedge this position based on, in the underlying, based on the Greeks, your delta. So I have a delta hedge set up, so if anything fills, it's going to automatically go out and hedge by itself. And on top of that, I've got it defined so if the delta moves by more than 50 shares, it will re-hedge, and that's just defined in this column here. And I can adjust it with this cell right here. So I can see all these orders going out, all these different Penn Wests. What have we got? So I'm trying to sell both the August 10 call and put and the July 10 call and put. And I've got a round function in just here, which is to make sure I don't violate the price limits. It's got to be to the nickel. And okay, say I want to get a bit more aggressive, I can change this in real time to a vol of 43, and I'm going to drag that down. And unfortunately, the change wasn't big enough.
Nothing for you.
Oh, there we go. We got a fill on something. We sold 5 Penn West August 10 puts, and an order is going out to sell 110 shares. So right now, because my offset is 0, it's going to try and get a fill passively. So let's just wait and see if we get a fill. Otherwise, I could set that at 1 or set a function in there. So if I were to change this, for example, to either 0.01 right now, it would penny up and get an instantaneous fill. Or you could set that as a function depending on certain criteria, whether you want to be passive or active. For example, you could try and sit passively until if the market moves away from you, then be a little more aggressive and submit an aggressive limit order. So, just for the sake of this demonstration, let's go get a fill right now.
Nothing for you.
There we go.
Nothing for you.
And hedged. And so odd lots, no problem. I've just got a function here to round this volume down to the nearest 10 lot. So while that's out, the other orders are remaining. And say you wanted to sell some vol, but only a certain amount. It's very easy to plug in. You know, a 1 cancels all. You just build a function based on either an absolute number of contracts or a certain amount of exposure. It's very easy to build in, obviously, just with a basic Excel formula. So now I've got this fill. I'm actually going to cancel these and turn the auto trader off, and you see the orders canceling. There we go. Canceling out. There you go. There's a live execution. That's a great demonstration. I wasn't sure whether we'd get a fill, but of, you know, receiving a passive fill on one side and then going out and hedging with the underlying. So we've covered Canadian products so far. We've looked at warrants, stocks, options on kind of a couple different strategy types. So I want to look at one last one before we wrap up today and show you a strategy on a spread, US future spread. So let's look at the VIX. I have a spread here that is the July versus October spread, and I want to sell it out, hoping that, you know, if a spike in volatility happens, this will fall. And so as I've got it built, I've got to set up here the contract parameters, and let's bring in the quotes. And I've got it set up, so I'm going to try and sell this spread. And my sell price I've got defined here. And of course, you know, you can just put in these columns, whatever you need, to write a function for your strategy, you can just put it in here, and I've got it set up so it's going to sell this spread, just one contract, long one contract here and short one contract here at 170. So let's see, get rid of these, and it looks like everything is good to go. We're going to try and buy this contract at $1.85, so nickel off, and sell this contract at $19.65, again a nickel off. And should one fill, the price will then adjust to go and try and take liquidity. So you're aiming for 1.7 here, but you might wind up with 1.65 as your actual fill price, given you don't want to be exposed. So let's turn this on. Turn these rows on. Let's turn on the master auto trader, and we'll see the orders go out. Now that we've run through a couple different examples of various trading strategies that you can use the LG-HedgeTrader for, I hope this has shown how useful and how easy this program is to run automated trading strategies. I mean, everything is handled within this sheet so far that we've seen, all based on Excel functions. I mean, nothing is based on coding here. Everything is right in front of you, and very easy to manage, and really you can trade any style of strategy you want, and everything is automated and managed within this program. So with that, you've seen all the orders that are out. These things have remained working the entire time I've been talking. We've seen a fill, seen an automated order, the hedge transaction. Now let's turn the auto trader off and cancel all our trades. And there we go. Everything's done. All right. Well, thanks for listening. And if you've got any questions, feel free to get in touch.